Hello, good afternoon. This is Rob Costa for Card Game Expert, and today I am going to be playing. Perfect start. Today I'm going to be talking about Storm. Storm is a deck based on the mechanic Storm. Empty the Warrens is a Storm card. We'll see the other bad boy very soon. Empty the Warrens creates 2/1/1 red goblin creature tokens, and yeah, people are trying to use stuff like Seething Song, Paretic Ritual, Desperate Ritual, Rite of Flame, Detection Probe, Manamorphose. Like, you'll see a lot of these super fair cards just packaged together a lot of the time. So Mishra's Bauble in there as well, Lotus Bloom, Sweet Ray, Chancellor, just... So, anyway, this is a deck that's either trying to charbelch someone and just be like, okay, I don't play lands. This deck is not playing lands, for those of you curious. But how do you get mana then? So you have Chancellor of the Tangle that makes mana, you have Simian Spirit Guide, and you have Lotus Bloom, which seems extremely slow for this format, but sure. Anyway, this is also very similar to the Goblin Charbelcher decks we used to see like a few weeks ago until Oops All Spells got banned. And this is also very similar or has the same base as Neoform, so you can kinda guess where on the fair spectrum Storm is landing. It's also the literal mechanic that they use to check if a card is fair is called the Storm mechanic. So what you'll be hearing, the words you'll be hearing a lot today is ban list, and yeah, take a shot every time I say ban list. It'll be fun. It'll be fine. Anyway, this all started in 2011. I'm going to go through the first few lists that I found just in random order because mostly people were just on the day the format got announced were really trying to abuse Seething Song. And for good reason. Seething Song is insanely powerful. And yeah, so anyway, this is the first thing that I could find. You'll see a few brews and then you'll see the archetype homogenize really fast. Oh, also we have Channel the Suns in here, which costs 4 mana, adds 5. So this is also just a ritual, which is kind of funny actually. Didn't even realize that, but that's kind of fun. Ooh, I should fool around with that. Anyway, Sideboard, we do have some lands in here. We're going to become a fair deck, both Sideboard, and that's for Guttural Respawns and for Surgical Extraction, because nobody knows how to build a Sideboard on the first day of the format. So, yeah, this is the first thing that Seething Song is making really fair, and Empty the Wall is making an appearance. Then we get to the second deck. Oh, come on, do it. So the second thing that I could find was actually a Dragonstorm deck, and this used to be a old standard favorite. So, yeah, this is what they did in standard back in the day. So, Bogardan Hellkite is a card that says Flash Flying. When Bogardan Hellkite enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to fighters choose among any number of targets. And once again, we have Seething Song in here. And the card Tyrants of John gives them haste. So what you're trying to do here is you're playing like a blue-red control game where you're like Preordain, Ponder, and then end of turn I'm going to go ahead and Giga Drive all your permanents, and now you can't do anything. Oh my god, my Lotus Bloom comes off suspend. Okay, cool. So add 3, Seething Song, 2 spells played, add 5, like play a Ponder, Preordain, Rite of Flame, something nobody cares. You could remount your own spells, nobody cares. You get the 4 or 5 spells that you go ahead and play Dragonstorm. Dragonstorm is one hell of a card. This card is so cool and so busted at the same time. Search your library for a dragon permanent card and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. So what this does is it gets all of these into play. So you go like, rah, the RB dragons. And yeah, then you just put them into play and yeah, just shoot 20 at your opponent. If that's not enough, because people do gain life, you also have Carthus Tyrant of John. This used to be my commander. I love this card. It's so cool. And yeah, you can just go ahead and put these into play, add this, and just swing in as well. So they go like rah, and they attack in. So that's what you're trying to do here. Already very similar to the core of Storm decks that we see today. We have like the cantrips, the Rite of Flame, Seething Songs. Giga Drive still sees some play, and yeah, Sea Beyond has been upgraded, but it's supposed to happen in 10 years, so yeah. One Castle Form pulls and Dreadship Reef in here as well. This is just deck from the old standard deck. It used to be, let's see, Time Spiral standard, I believe that this was. So this was what people were doing in standard. People today are like, well, standard is so unfair these days. I remember getting killed on turn 2 in standard, and it was actually really cool. Anyway, sideboard, more fun stuff. We have some lightning bolts, we have some combust for Splinter Twin, Hercules Recall, Spell Pierce, Dismember, and 3 Blood Moons. So yeah, that's all pretty obvious. So that was Dragonstorm. Then we get to the next deck. And that is... there we go. And this is Siraj. And as you can tell, this is just... yeah, Storm. This is just a Storm deck. I mean, they have 4 Goblin Bushwhacker in there. And all of the banned list stuff. So let's count the number of cards that got banned from this deck. 4 Seething Song, yup, gone. 4 Detection Probe, yup, gone. 4 Ponder, yup, gone. 4 Preordain, yup, gone. So, 4 Rider Flame as well, gone. I mean, Rider Flame is banned, I should check that. Anyway, yeah, I believe Rider Flame is banned. I don't know. God, I should check that. Rider Flame, 1 second. I'm gonna edit this out. Rider Flame. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I'm correct. Rite of Flame is banned. God, that was terrible. How did I not know that? Like, I actually own Storm, like in real life. I own this deck. I actually own quite a lot of it offline, online as well. Anyway, Empty the Warrens, Rite of Flame, Seething Song, Detection Probe, Ponder, Preordain, Desperate Ritual, Poetic Ritual, Manamorphose, Goblin Bushwhacker, Serum Visions, and what this deck is trying to do is just cast a crap ton of rituals, play a big Empty the Warrens, and follow it up with a Bushwhacker. So you'll go like Empty the Warrens, making out like 20 tokens or 10 tokens, and just give him +1 and haste until end of turn, and attacking in, swinging in for the win. This deck can win as early as turn like 2, I guess. Yeah, 2 should be fine. Like this deck can very easily win on turn 2. Maybe even turn 1 if you get like ritual. Let's see, of Rite of Flame. If you go like double Rite of Flame, I think there's a turn 1 kill in here, but it's iffy. But most turn 1 kills are. Anyway, sideboard 4 Fire Spout, 3 Echo Intrude, 4 Remas, 4 Snapback, so 3 spells. Basically, just interaction in the sideboard. Like, do I need to bounce something that I don't like? Okay, I'll put in a Snapback. Do I need to counter a spell? I'll put in 4 Remas. Do I need to bounce like an I don't know, ensnaring bridge or something, or an engineered explosives? Echo Intrude it is. Do I need to kill my opponent's Wonder Cuddle? That's also a card that was on the ban list. Fire Spout it is. So yeah, just a very direct sideboard, and lots of cards in here that are on the ban list right now. Then we get to the next little deck list, and this is just another one that does really well, and this is Silver Rocket's list. This is a list that's also from 2011. As I said, I'm just taking the 2011 lists all together because everybody was trying stuff out. There was just so much going on. So here we have a few new innovations. We still have the Detection Pro, Ponder, Preordained ban list package. We have the Rite of Flame, we have the Seething Songs. Those are all still just very good. It's the reason they're banned. So we follow this up with 4 Lightning Bolt as interaction in the main deck, and we have a new victory here. This is Grape Shot. Grape Shot, for those of you who don't know, is a power down Tendrils of Agony. And I should look up Tendrils of Agony. That's just as nice. So Tendrils of Agony does 2 damage and drains 2 life, actually, I should say. Anyway, I'm just pulling it up. That's way easier. Tendrils of Agony. Really? There's so many cards with Tendrils? Jesus. There we go. So here we have Tendrils of Agony. And that says target player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life with Storm. This card is absolutely busted beyond belief. This card is so they were like, okay, now we're doing Time Spiral, we're getting the Storm mechanic, but we can't put in Tendrils of Agony. Let's print Grape Shot. Grape Shot should be fine. Grape Shot's not fine. Grape Shot is still really busted. Just 1 damage is enough. Like I've Grape Shotted people for like 60 before. It's so busted. Anyway, yeah, Detection Pro, Ponder, Preordained, Serum Visions, Bolt, Rite of Flame, Manamorphose, Seething Song, and Grape Shot all making an appearance. Just trying to cast as many spells as you can, many spells as you like, many spells as you want. dealing some damage. You can use the lightning bolt to power up the grape shot, because one lightning bolt still is 3 grape shots to the face. But we have some other tech in here as well. The first thing that I want to mention is Pyromancer Swat. Pyromancer Swat. If an instant or sorcery you control will deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much damage plus 2 to that permanent or player instead. At the beginning of each end step, discard your hand. So, oh my god, I have to discard my hand. Oh no! Yeah, you're just gonna absolutely bloody murder people with that. So what you're doing is, okay, Rite of Flame, no, that's for later. Marvos, Seething Song, I have a lot of mana. Pyromancer Swat, Grape Shot you, and this just makes it so that if you play Pyromancer Swat into Grape Shot, that's a storm count of 7 is enough. So you have Grape Shot is 1, Pyromancer Swat is 2, like Seething Song, Marvos is 3, 4, like Ritual, Ponder, Preordain, Probe is 7. It's the easiest Grape Shot kill on the planet as far as I know. Yeah, Pyromancer Swat very powerful, but yeah, kind of clunky, and discarding your hand if you don't get the kill is a big ask. So, wanted to point this out. It's in there. It's a future side card, and yeah, those are always just weird, but I want to point this out. This is really cool. The other thing that I see for the first time, I can speak the English, I swear. Pyromancer's Ascension is a card that's in here as well. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that has the same name as a card in your graveyard, you may put a quest counter on Pyromancer Ascension. And then the Pyromancer ascends, and he becomes, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell while Pyromancer Ascension has 2 or more quest counters on it, you may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So what happens here is you play a crap ton of things, just things, I like all of these. You play these, just the deck, and then there's like, oh my god, I have cards in my graveyard, and then Pyromancer's Ascension just goes and triggers everything. So with this, once it's active, Cataxian Probe is 0 mana, draw 2 cards, and look at their hand twice. It's always better than the second time you look. Ponder becomes, look at, okay, we should be back. Anyway, yeah, so where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about Ponder. Ponder should, Ponder with Pyromancer's Ascension out becomes, look at look at the top 3 cards, draw a card. Look at the top 3 cards, draw a card. So it becomes, look at 6, draw 2 for 1 mana. That's really good. That's like Ancestral Recall levels of good. And the other thing, Preordain just looks at a ton of cards. Anyway, apparently spells are better when you get to copy them. Who knew? So that's what Pyromancer Ascension is doing in there. Yeah, very, very powerful card. And let's see, Sideboard, we have some Spell Piercers. We have 4 Killing Fiend as well. Killing Fiend just kills people really dead with a lot of spells. Ancient Grudge in there as well. Affinity was just a thing back then. 4 Blood Moon in here as well, because yay, Blood Moon. Then we go on to the next one, and we get to the, oh yeah, okay, I need to do some alt tapping here. Anyway, we have the modern ban list, and that's, let's see, where is it? Yeah, we have this. Just pulling it up here. So we have Rite of Flame banned, Ponder and Preordain banned. And the rest of this is not relevant for us in the Storm video. Anyway, we have Ponder and Preordain banned. A large number of blue-red combination decks kept the field less diverse. One thing that made them so efficient was the cards that would find their combinations. So, combo decks. Ponder and Preordain were the most widely used of those cards. Banning these should make the combination decks blah blah blah. The other thing is, Rite of Flame is banned. And this is on September 20th, 2011, by the way. You can see that here. Then you have Rite of Flame banned. So this was primarily used in combination decks to deliver very quick wins. While Jeremy Neiman did not make the top 8 of the tournament, his modern deck won 9 out of 10 matches and did so with some extremely quick kills. Well, who can guess what Jeremy Neiman was playing? So we have Jeremy Neiman's deck right here, and it is, come on, who knew, it's Storm. So we have 3 Cataxian Probe in here, 4 Ponder, 4 Preordain, and this is the first time that Storm gets a bunch of cards banned. So yeah, Goblin Bushwhacker with the Empty the Warren still in there, Pyretic Ritual, not even a 4 of, that's so insane to me, that's just wow. Pyretic Ritual not being a 4 of is just absolutely bonkers. This card is so good, but it's still not good enough back then. Serum Vicious making an appearance, Manamorphose, like all the bro. This is mostly just the deck as you see it today as well. Like the core of Storm has not changed in a decade. And that's for a very good reason. The core is just only good with itself. But if you add like, I don't know, like 4 Desperate Ritual to a random burn deck, it's not gonna do anything. Like nobody cares if you play 3 Goblin Guides on turn 2 if you're lucky. It's just... yeah, it's just not a thing. And so, yeah, these cards are good and extremely busted with each other, but they're basically unplayable without each other. So that's a really weird thing. And usually mechanics like that just aren't good enough. But Storm, as I said already, Storm is the literal mechanic to which they compare brokenness. So, yeah, Storm pretty good. The sideboard, I love this sideboard. We have 4 Thoughtseize and 3 Dark Confident in here. I love these Dark Confident. I didn't know that. It's so cool. I love Dark Confident so much. So, for those of you who don't know, this is Bob. Bob is the Dark Confident. He is also a German player. And yeah, he's really good at the game and he likes drawing cards, but he also wants to just put them into his hand because drawing cards sometimes gets stopped by things like Narset. So yeah, 4 Hercules Recall, Affinity, Magma Jet, Goblin Bushwhacker, and yeah, just 4 Thoughtseize for when you need to combo off through a counter spell. I love these Thoughtseizes. I think they should be played more in the sideboard of Storm. I love this Grixis version of Storm. So really cool. I did not know he was running black as well. So yeah, that's the first time a bunch of stuff got on the ban list from Storm, and it takes a grand total of... I need to look at my notes here. So the Pro Tour was in September, and let's see, this is in December. So it takes a grand total of 3 months for people to come up with, well, yeah, Modern Storm. Basically, this is just... oh, no. This is another list that... I'm sorry, this is one more list that should be in front. This is another list that people were fooling around with. This is a list that's, yeah, just completely fetchless. First fetchless list I could find, 2011. A very busted list as well. 4 Dream Grip in there. And this is just trying to tap and untap as many permanents as you can. Just make more mana. So Dream Grip with Cascade Bluffs, or I should say with anything of the mana base, just adds more mana. And yeah, this Noxious Revival in there as well. So this is the first time I found Noxious Revival as well, which is a card you'll see a bit. It's been around, but it's not a staple as far as I know. And for Pyromancer Ascension as well. So what this deck is trying to do here, you're doing the let's see that I line it up correctly. You're doing Pyromancer Ascension with Gitaxian Probe and Noxious Revival. So you're paying a crap ton of life, that's for sure. And with Manamorphose, and you end up with all sorts of loops that just draw you your deck and get you infinite storm count and stuff, and then you just go ahead and repeat the lightning bolt. This is why the 1 lightning bolt is in here. You just put it back on top with the Noxious Revival every turn, so you end up in a spot where you can just Noxious Revival, get back lightning bolt and Noxious Revival, draw Manamorphose, draw Lightning Bolt, draw Noxious Revival, play Lightning Bolt, copy it, Noxious Revival, get back Lightning Bolt, get back Noxious Revival, play Manamorphose, draw both of them again, and you just start looping them out with the Pyromancer. So that's why there's 1 Lightning Bolt in here. That's all. And yeah, Dream's Grip with Pyromancer Ascension untaps 2 lands. So it's a ritual. And yeah, that's this is very close to actual Twiddlestorm that came about a few years later, like a bunch of years later. But yeah, first fetchless Storm mana base, bunch of Noxious Rituals. So this is also a Storm deck, just very different. For those of you who want to learn Storm, do not start with this version. This version is really hard. I mean, Storm is definitely not an easy deck to play at all, but this version is really difficult. And then we get to the sideboard. And here we have some Boomerang for when you need to answer permanents. Some Model the Mixture for when you need to find some stuff. And 3 Fire Spouts for when you need to answer some stuff. And this is just the greatest sideboard of all time. We have 3 Splinter Twin. And 3 Deceiver Exile. Like, this is already just memes, but probably very good. But for the life of me, I don't understand why you wouldn't just play like fourth Splinter Twin over the first Kiki Jiki, and the fourth Deceiver Exarch over the first Bestmine. Like, Surgical can't be that prominent, right? It's just not a thing. And even if you have one, who cares? Anyway, yeah, so Sideboard, yeah, now we're Splinter Twinning it up. And for those of you wondering, yes, Splinter Twin will get its own video. Because, well, it's another card that's on the ban list that made an appearance in Storm. And then there were a bunch of cards banned, as I said already. And that happened in September. And we go to December, where we get this list from Francisco Moreno. And yeah, this is just the Storm deck as we know it. That's just all I can say about it. So this is from December 2011. The 3rd of December to be precise. And yeah, this is just Storm like we know it. The Past in Flames making an appearance. Empty the Warren, Seething Song. Ideas Unbound gone. Like, some stuff is gone, but this is just the Storm core. Like, you have 3 Grape Shot, Desperate Ritual, Pyrotic Ritual, Manamorpho, Sleight of Hand, Serum Visions. There's some Quicken in here, some Cataxian Probe, some Seething Songs. But yeah, this is just Modern Storm. Also, no fetch lands again. Sideboard's not here. I couldn't find it, but yeah, Modern Storm 2011, and we just had it. That's it. I mean, the thing with this video was for me to look at the history of Storm was just, well, this kind of was already a deck in 2011, and it just didn't really change. Anyway, I did find some cool other stuff. So anyway, in 2011 as well, on the 9th, yeah, so man. Okay, so anyway, on the 3rd of September, man, I'm really getting my order wrong because, I'm sorry, the crash kind of put me off the rhythm here. Trying to do the best I can. Anyway, Cataxian Probe, God, I'm really losing train of thought here. Max Chablom is someone who played Storm at Pro Tour Philadelphia as well. This is a deck that got top 8, so this deck got top 8 at the first Pro Tour. 4 Pyromancer Ascension in there, just really powerful. The Remand tech that we still use today. Manamorphose, 4 Lightning Bolt, Endeavor, Interaction, Ponder, Preordain, Cataxian Probe, Bright of Flame. And just 1 Banefire. I love the 1 Banefire. It's like, you can counter my spells all you want. Banefire you anyway. Spell Pierce for Flame Slash in there. Shadowing Speed, Blood Moon, Wipe Wave, and Dillion Click. So that's Storm's first Pro Tour top 8 appearance in Modern. It was at the actual literal first Pro Tour. And then we get to 2012, where we have, let's see, this is the one I need, okay? Man, the ordering is off, man, that crash really put me back. Anyway, this is Raiden, wow. This is Javier Gavillan's first mention here, and it's his only mention as well, by the way. Anyway, this is the first time I could find someone that was using Gifts Ungiven in Storm, and this is in March of 2012, and at this point, yeah, like that. This is Storm, Past in Flames, Empty the Warrant, Gifts Ungiven. Well, Seething Song is still on the ban list these days. Cataxian Probe is on there, but it's just been replaced by Sleight of Hand, and yeah, this is just Modern Storm. So yeah, I mean, we've all seen it, we've all played against it. So Sideboard, casual Splinter Twin again, and I like this a lot more. Just the 4th Splinter Twin in there. Then the 5th one in Kiki Jiki, I do understand that, and just this as well. Like, this I get. This seems very logical to me. And 2 Dispels and 1 Pact of Negation. It's just, whee! So yeah, Transformational Sideboard. People are going to be boarding in Graveyard Hate against Past in Flames and Noxious Revival and Pyromancer. Is that this? No, that's not this one. And against Gifts Ungiven. So, out go those. In come the Splinter Twin, the Pestamite, the Deceiver Exarch. You can actually pretend to be a beatdown deck. You're not going to. You're going to Splinter Twin, people. Nobody plays Storm to be on the battlefield and win that way fairly. And then we get to the 20th of October with Raiden's list. And this is the first list that I could find that has the Goblin Electromancer. And Goblin Electromancer is a busted little boy, and he is a 2/2 for 2, so Grizzly Bear. With a goblin wizard creature type, that's all fine. And he has like one more rule of text or something. Oh yeah, it's instant and sorcery spells you cost one less to cast. That's so busted. It's unreal. Let's see, are we still recording? We are still recording. Good. Everything is just malfunctioning today, so gotta check. Anyway, Goblin Electromancer, instant and sorcery spells you cast cost one less to cast. And that makes rituals really good. Yeah, Desperate Ravens, just 1 mana draw 2 by the way with this. This card I got is random, flashback 3. The flashback does get discounted, so that's nice. Yeah, Desperate Ritual, 1 mana. Hello? Desperate Ritual, 1 mana, add 3. Grape Shot, 1 mana, deal a crap ton of damage. Pyrotic Ritual, 1 mana, add 3. Seething Song, 2 mana, add 5. Past in Flames, 3 mana, play your deck again. So yeah, Goblin Electromancer really put this deck into overdrive and just immediately 4 off at first list that I could find. Just like, this is so busted. Marvos becomes add 2 mana, draw a card, draw a card. It's so busted. So yeah, that's the first appearance of Goblin Electromancer in Storm. Then we have the sideboard here. 4 Empty the Warrens, just storming off without the graveyard. Echoing Truth, Pyroclasm, Lightning Bolt, Dispel. The only thing I can say is don't board in your Empty the Warrens in the same matchups you board in your Pyroclasm. I have done that before. It's not pretty and it's just as dying as you think. Then the next one that I want to look at is... Where is it? Is it gone? Oh, no, here it is. We have John Finkel's list. I took Johnny Magic's list. John Finkel, yeah, John Finkel loves his Storm, and that's something you'll see throughout this list as well. The pros love their Storm decks. So this is the Pro Tour Return to Ravnica deck of John Finkel, and it's on the 21st of 10th month is October in 2012, and we have the Protection Probe still in it. Just 3 spells are that busted. 3 Past in Flame, 4 Seething Song, lots of candidates for the ban list later on. 4 Manamorphose, 4 Goblin Electromancer, Pyromancer Ascension, and this is just a deck that the pros love to play. Just lots of decisions, lots of kill you now, lots of gotcha moments. Just skill and speed and lethalness combined. Yeah, the pros just love playing Storm. When I looked at the Storm results, I couldn't even include the Grand Prix victories. There's just so much on the Pro Tour alone. Just every single Pro Tour in Modern for the first few years had a Storm deck in it. Sideboard, 3 Empty the Wands, 3 Shadow Storm, Pyromancer Ascension, Grave Shot, Echoing Truth, Lightning Bolt. So very close to the sideboards we still see today. Yeah, packages like the Slide of Hand, Serum Vision, still very close to what we see today as well. Yeah, the Storm deck has just been really consistent. Then we get to this list here. Let's see, or should I be doing this one? Yeah, they're both kind of the same. Okay, cool. So this is Worlds 2014, and this is Josh Otter-Layton's list. He got 2nd place at that tournament. And yeah, this is a Jeskai Ascendancy deck. And for those of you wondering, like, there's no Empty the Warrens, there's no Rituals. This is just as much a Storm deck. What this deck is trying to do is it's trying to use Jeskai Ascendancy. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Untap those creatures. So the important part is the untapping. Because you use a Fate Stitcher, you just put it in your graveyard using Thought Scour, which also fuels Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time, but we'll talk about those in a second. So what this deck is trying to do is you turn 1, play a land, whatever. Then end of turn, Thought Scour, put 2 cards into your graveyard, draw a card as well. So you're trying to hit the Fate Stitcher. If you draw, that's also fine, you can just discard it with the Izzet Charm. Then you play a Jeskai Ascendancy. And then you play spells. And stuff starts untapping. So Jeskai Ascendancy is on the battlefield. You unearth your Fate Stitcher. Fate Stitcher comes into play. Untaps a land. You play a cantrip with said land. Said cantrip triggers Jeskai Ascendancy. Fate Stitcher untaps. And it's now a 2/3. You then untap a land. And for instance, you Thought Scour. hit a second Fate Stitcher, and now you have 2 Fate Stitchers going, so every cantrip you play nets you a mana, so you're playing a crap ton of spells, but instead of grape shotting, the Fate Stitchers get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you end up playing, getting like a 2021 Fate Stitcher, and just attacking in after tapping that board. So when you're done cantripping and have enough mana and stuff, you just use Fate Stitcher to tap that blockers and just attack in. There's also some other stuff going on here. There's a Treasure Cruise. We all know this card. It's absolutely insane. 4 Dig Through Time in here as well. This is, trying to be like a control deck. And 4 Dig Through Time just doing really well there. And just, Fate Stitcher untapping 2 lands, Dig Through Timing for 2 mana, so free Dig Through Time, delving some stuff, triggering Fate Stitcher. Like, once this deck gets going, it gets going. And this has a turn 3 kill, I believe. Just Jeskai Ascendancy into Protection Probe. And just hoping to hit stuff. I believe this deck can go off on turn 3. But yeah, definitely check out the footage from Worlds 2014. It was so sweet. It was really cool. Then we get to the sideboard. There's some Pact of Negation in here. Swan Song Deprived. So lots of interaction. 3 Wear and Tear as well. 2 Timely Reinforcement. 3 Gifts Ungiven. And there's a casual Unburial Rites with Alexnon and Iona in here. So what you're doing is, okay, my opponent's on burn. Well, you can't cast red spells because I'm going to end of turn Gifts Ungiven for Unburial Rites and Iona. And I'm not picking any other cards. So the Unburial Rites and the Iona have to go to the graveyard. And next turn just revive it, and now you're locked out of red. Or if they're playing like elves or something, Elish Norn, just get -2/-2 on your team. Yeah, you're gonna die. That's just what's gonna happen. So yeah, Jeskai Ascendancy, just another version of Storm. That's actually Storm without the Storm cards, but still very, very close into how it's how it plays out. Oh, there's also Fairy Conclave in here. That also works as a creature that untaps. So Jeskai Ascendancy triggering also untaps the Fairy Conclave. I should mention that. This is and here we have another version of this deck. This is also from 2014, and this is just the 4-color version. This is less control-y. But this is based on Utopia Sprawl and Arbor Elf, I believe. No, that's another one. Okay, we have Arbor Elf, Birds of Paradise, and Noble Hierarch in here as things that untap with the Jeskai Ascendancy. Oh, and Sylvan Caryatid as well. So these all untap with the Jeskai Ascendancy triggers, and then you're just mostly trying to do the same thing. You're just untapping stuff like Cerulean Wisps, untapping a creature twice. So really helps. And yeah, this is just another version of the Jeskai Ascendancy deck that also originated in 2014. Figured I should mention it. The idea is the same. You just untap your creatures a lot and then just do stuff that's really broken. You can attack with the Birds of Paradise. You can Glittering Wish as well for like a win condition. You have Sphinx Revelation in here, which is absolutely hilarious to me. You have the 4 Jeskai Ascendancy in here because it's really good to get with the Glittering Wish. And just all sorts of stuff in here that you might need. So like 1 Simic Charm if you need to bounce a creature. Abrupt Decay if you need to get rid of like a Rest in Peace or something. Guttural Respawns, Wear Tear. Fiery Justice if you're trying to kill some stuff. Aurelia's Fury as something that's going to kill their opponents as well. So yeah, this is another version of the Jeskai Ascendancy deck. Jeskai Ascendancy got printed in 2014 with Cons of Tarkir. Just really cool card. I love this card. Just more stuff happening with unfair cards that play like Storm. So the thing for me was that made it really hard was, do I include like the Jeskai Ascendancy list? Because while they are kind of a Storm deck, they're different in the sense that they're not using rituals, but just the creatures combined with the untapping just functions as a ritual. So I decided to include them here. That brings us to 2014 still. This is also from Worlds 2014. And this is the list that Turtenwald and Jensen played. They played the old school Storm deck. So this is just telling of how much the pros like playing Storm. It's fast, it's deadly, it's uninteractive, and when you're drag racing, Storm usually is king. So Protection Probe in here still, Seren Vision, Sleight of Hand, Pulsar. Like this is this is like 71 cards of modern Storm deck, so I'm not gonna go into this too much. So Treasure Cruise in there as well. Another one on the ban list. So Treasure Cruise, Protection Probe. For the rest, all legal cards. Oh, I should mention that Seething Song got banned at some point. So gonna pull that up for a second. Yeah, here we go. Excuse me, I forgot to mention this. In 2013, Seething Song got banned. That was because... This is also the announcement where they banned Blood Radar, by the way. But we're talking about Seething Song here. This is... my apologies, I kind of forgot it. This is on January 28th on 2013. And so they banned Seething Song, and the whole World Championship the next year was a bunch of Storm decks. So yeah, not quite good enough. They banned it because it was the most efficient ritual. It's yeah, they just wanted to power down Storm. They ended up on banning Seething Song, which was probably correct. Like, still, Storm still is a very playable deck. So anyway, so yeah, they banned it, and Worlds just still had 5 Storm players. And considering Worlds, that is a ton, because Worlds is just 24 players. So yeah. Sideboard, they have a Hallowed Fountain, so they can splash for a Meddling Mage or a Wear Tear. They probably heard about the Jeskai Ascendancy list. Owen Turdenwald and William Huey Jensen, both Channel Fireball guys, so probably just knew what their friends were doing and decided to hedge against it a bit. Empty the Warrens in the sideboard, 4 Treasure Cruise in the sideboard, Shadow Storms in there as well. All pretty obvious stuff. And then we get to 2016, where we have Ryoki Tamada, and this is another version of Storm that I hadn't encountered yet. So this is a list that he's known for, and he did well with on a Grand Prix. Gotta look up which one. I should have noted it down. Yeah. Okay, anyway, this is Ryoshi Tamada's list. He did really well with it. What this list is trying to do is, it's a Pyromancer Ascension thing in the ice deck. So this is a deck that wants to play a threat on turn 2 and just try and go off from that. So this is, yeah, I think in the Ice Mate is possible, and Protection Probe triggers both of these. And just, yeah, making sure that he can play a lot of spells. Fadeless Looting in here as well, another card that's on the banned list these days. So what this deck is trying to do, it's either trying to flip a thing in the ice on turn 3 and start attacking in, and that's just really big and just bounces their board. Just pull it up like that. And the other thing this deck is trying to do is play a Pyromancer Ascension and just trigger it. I already talked about what it does, and there's just so many lightning bolts in here, like Lightning Bolt, Lightning Helix, that you can just burn people out. I've been killed by this deck while I was on 24, and they were just like, well, end of turn, yeah, Lightning Bolt you, Pyromancer Ascension trigger, Lightning Bolt you again, Pyromancer Ascension trigger. That's already 12 damage. And then Lightning Helix you, that's another 6, and Lightning Helix you again, that's another 6, and that's 24, and yeah, you die now. Another thing that you can do here is Lightning Bolt with the Pyromancer Ascension trigger, bounce the original with the remand back to your hand. The trigger happens, you deal 3, and you shoot the original Lightning Bolt again, which nets you 9 damage. And yeah, Thing in the Ice just beats really hard. So this is like a very aggressive Storm deck, and this is a bit less linear, like there are more actions of interaction against this, but yeah, just a Storm deck. But the one thing this deck does way better than most other Storm decks is it has a lot better burn matchup because of the 4 Lightning Helix. So if the burn is really prevalent, but you still want to play Storm, I'd recommend looking at splashing 4 Lightning Helix. Who knew? Life good against burn. Sideboard, we have Path to Exile for interaction, Dispel for counterspell, Swan Song for stuff. Rest for the Wary, because when you want to beat burn, you really want to beat burn. Engineered Explosives, Blood Moon in there again, Anger of the Gods, and Wear and Tear. So that's all pretty obvious, but I wanted to point this archetype out. I've died to this a lot, and I feel like it deserved a mention. And let's see, in 2016 we had Leo Marvos as well, and this is the first list that I could find that was playing Pieces of the Puzzle. And Pieces of the Puzzle is the best thing you can do. That was very Dutch of me. That's the best thing you can do besides Gifts Ungiven to draw you a bunch of cards. So Gifts Ungiven is a card that search your library for up to 4 cards with different names and reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Put the chosen cards into your graveyard and the rest into your hand. Then shuffle your library. So end of turn you just go Gifts Ungiven, get Pyretic Ritual, Manamorphose, Desperate Ritual, and yeah, whatever. And oh yeah, Past in Flames. And when you get that and 2 mana, it's just a lock. But yeah, Gifts Ungiven is vulnerable to Graveyard Hate and Veil of Summer these days, and Pieces of the Puzzle isn't. So what happens is people board in Graveyard Hate because of your Gifts Ungiven, and you just go like, Pieces of the Puzzle is really good here, and you're revealing the top 5 cards of your library. Put up to 2 instant and or sorcery cards from among them into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. So for 3 mana, you get to look at 5 cards and draw 2. With Golden Electromancer, this becomes 2 mana, draw 2. That's really good. Past in Flames becomes cheaper as well. So yeah, Pieces of the Puzzle, just a very efficient way to dodge using the graveyard. Sideboard, Dispel, Lightning Bolt, Shattering Spree, Vandal Blast, Pyroclasm, Blood Moon, Anger, Empty the Warren, Shadow Storm. So that's all pretty obvious. But yeah, Leo Marvos' list in 2016. First thing I could find with Pieces of the Puzzle. 2 in the main. I believe these days they are in the sideboard, but they're in the main here. And they were good, so they stayed. And we get to 2017. And we get to Mr. Frenchie's list. And yeah, this is just a modern Storm deck. We all know these cards. But one little thing got printed. And everyone got scared. And we were going to live in Bel Air. Anyway, Boral Chief of Compliance got printed in Kaladesh. Oh no, in Aether Revolt. Sorry, it's same difference. Boral Chief of Compliance, 1 mana and a blue mana as well. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Wait, but there's more of these. We already really liked having Goblin Electromancer in the deck. And now we get instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast again. So now we have consistent access to this game mechanic. That's really powerful. Consistency is king. And there's some more text in here. So it's a 1/3. It blocks Goblin Guide, which is really nice. And what does that say? Oh, whenever a spell or ability you control counters a spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Wait, what? Now Remand says draw 2 and discard a card. So Remand becomes a Desperate Ravings without the randomness with Boral Chief of Compliance out there. You can just go ahead and remount your own Grape Shot. That's also really cool to do. Past in Flames comes cheaper again. But yeah, now you go ahead and on 3 mana play a Boral. You remand something, you actually draw 2 cards. So this also becomes a very good filtering mechanic for the deck. And the cards that you have to discard end up in your graveyard for Past in Flames. So this, very powerful addition to the deck. And yeah, this is just the deck as we play today. Like I could sleeve up this 75 today and be very happy playing it. Sideboard, we have Dispel, Lightning Bolt, Shattering Spree, 1 Hope of Kirapur. This is a deck that's copied from Vintage, where they have a green version of this. And Hope of Kirapur is a 1 mana 1/1 with flying that sacrifice Hope of Kirapur until your next turn. Target player who was dealt combat damage by Hope of Kirapur this turn can't cast non-creature spells. So this is something that you see in Vintage as well. They have the green version of this. And what this does is just, okay, I'm going to go ahead and attack in, and now you can't interact anymore. So either you tap out and kill my creature, or you die anyway. So this is just making sure you get to a choke point where people need to interact. Because forcing them to interact before they want to is one of the most powerful things you can be doing in a combo deck. For the rest, we have Wear and Tear again, Blood Moon again, Empty the Wands, Crumble to Dust. I don't really get it. Like, the Tron matchup should be insane for this deck, so especially those days. So yeah, there's a Crumble to Dust in here, but not gonna lie, I don't really get it. And Leyline of Sanctity, just a white Leyline. The burn matchup isn't that bad. You're just playing off-color Leylines. It is just that bad. And let's see, then we get to 2017. I just wanted to point out one of Caleb Shearer's lists. There's some peer-through depth in here, which is nice. And this is just Storm, as we know. But the main reason I wanted to point out a Caleb Shearer list is like, this is the Storm guy. He's been playing Storm for probably since before everybody was born, even himself. So, yeah, CWS on Magic Online. He streams as well. I believe he has his own Storm. I believe this is his. I'm not completely sure. I couldn't find it, but yeah, this is the Modern Storm FAQ, and this is just, yeah, this is a giant blog about Storm, and I saw his name mentioned. Yeah, Storm official Caleb Shearer began playing, so I believe this is his. Anyway, wanted to point it out. There's a complete MTG Modern Storm website, so. And then we get to 2018, where we have Jason Chung, and he... Oh yeah, he had one of the best performing decks on Pro Tour Rival of Ixalan. So yeah, this is just a Storm deck, but it did really well on the Pro Tour. He had one of the best performing decks. This is on the 3rd of February of 2018. So yeah, we all know this at this point. Electromancer, Gifts Ungiven, Baral, Remand, Desperate Ritual. So yeah, nothing much changed. Oh, Opt got printed. Opt is a thing in Storm as well. Just a 2-off. Storm. Opt just doesn't see cards fast enough, and you don't really care about going off at instant speed because, well, your end of turn things are only setting you up for your sorcery speed things. So Opt just a 2-off in there. Sleight of Hand just sees you the most, cause I mean, I would honestly play 4 Sleight if I had to choose. I'd play 4 Sleight of Hand before I'd play 4 Serum Vision. So that's just a consistency and speed thing. Yeah, anyway, Boral, Gifts Ungiven, Past in Flames, Remand, Electromancer all in there. Sideboard, Dispel, Giga Draws is for end of turn tapping out your opponent. As I said already, forcing them to interact before they want to is really powerful. Pieces of the Puzzle, just 4 in the Sideboard to dodge Graveyard Hate. Engineered Explosives to kill your own Empty the Warrens tokens. I'm just kidding, that's not why they're there, but you can do it. I've seen people do it, it's a thing. Anyway, Empty the Warrens in the Sideboard to dodge Graveyard Hate as well. Shattering Spree for Affinity. Then we get to 2019, where we see some cool innovations again. So first off, we start with Franklin Volks. And Franklin Volks is the first list that I could find that was playing Lotus Field. And Lotus Field is really busted. Like, this land is insane. Lotus Field is a land that's hexproof. Lotus Field enters the battlefield tapped. You're like, oh, that sounds like total crap. When Lotus Field enters the battlefield, sacrifice 2 lands. Yeah, this card is really bad in a Tron deck, but it does add 3 mana of any one color. And you can go ahead and untap it with the Dream's Grip. So you go ahead, play Lotus Field, sacrifice your land, float a mana, untap target permanent. Oh my god, I am having mana now. And then you just twiddle a bunch, untap target art for creature or land. So you just twiddle, untap your Lotus Field, Dream's Grip, untap your Lotus Field, and just draw a bunch of cards. These cards also use the Arcane mechanic, and Arcane is one of the weirdest mechanics there is. So you have instant Arcane here, and you just splice onto Arcane. As you cast an Arcane spell, you may reveal this card from your hand and pay its splice cost. If you do, add this card's effect to this spell. So you use Psychic Puppetry splashed onto Reach Through Mist. So you pay 1 for the Reach Through Mist. Then you pay another 1 to splice onto the Psychic Puppetry. And now you get to draw a card and untap. But the Psychic Puppetry goes back to your hand. So you end up netting a lot of mana with the Lotus Field. Yeah, if you want to see something cool, definitely search for someone on Twitch who can just show you how this deck works. This is a weird one for sure. It's really cool. It's really weird. You are also playing IDs Unbound in here. You have Vizier of Tumbling Sands, and just Past in Flames to do it all over again. It's also just something I should do. I should make like a database where you can find all those modern streamers and stuff, because this deck is just something like, just looking at this list, you just won't have a clue how this works. But when you see it's like, oh, like that. It's like driving a car. It's impossible till you do it. So, anyway, Yeah, sideboard, lightning bolts, echoing through, thing in the ice in the sideboard, to fry in there as well. Area of flame in the sideboard as well. We have one wipe of away, a rebuild. Rebuild is just an answer to affinity that cycles. Empty the warrants, and we have one Chandra Awakened Inferno because, well, screw you, blue-white control. That's just what this card is here for. So yeah, that's Twiddlestorm. Twiddlestorm, definitely a fan favorite. People love watching Twiddlestorm. Like, this deck is a giant puzzle till you get going. It's really cool. Playing this deck is a lot of fun, but it's really difficult. Which is a theme for these. Like, all of these Storm decks are really hard to do. And then we get to another list that's from 2019, and this is Baiko the Gaia's list, and I kind of wanted to mention them as well because they're really good at playing Storm. Like, if you're against this person on Magic Online, yeah, you're playing against someone who really knows what they're doing, usually on Storm as far as I know. And this is the first list that I could find that had Aria of Flame in the main deck. So, when Aria of Flame enters the battlefield, each opponent gains 10 life. Well, that sounds like crap. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a verse counter on Aria of Flame, then it deals damage equal to the number of verse counters on it to target player or planeswalker. Okay, so let's say you play this. They go to 30 life just for giggles. Just they are on 20, they go to 30. And now you're like, I just gave him 10 life. Now I need to storm off harder. Okay. Next turn, untap. Desperate Ritual, deal 1 damage. Pyretic Ritual, deal 2 damage, 3 total. Remount my own Pyretic Ritual. I'm just naming stuff here, by the way. Deal 4 of the Remand, deal 5 of the Pyretic Ritual again. That makes 9 plus 3 is a lot. Then you just go Manamorphose, and you've dealt 11 just of the Manamorphoses. And then you go ahead and Past in Flames, and now Past in Flames deals 7 damage as well. And you do it all over again, and you absolutely bloody murder them into the next game. So yeah, Aria of Flame looks bad at first, but this adds up really fast. I mean, I've played this as a win condition in Blue Moon, and it was very good there as well. Just Blue Moon got some other stuff that did better, but just Aria flaming them and just being like, lightning bolt you, yeah, remount you, it adds up so much. Yeah, so anyway, the rest of the deck pretty standard. Opt, Serum Vision, Sleight of Hand. This is not the way I do this, but yeah. Just I'd go for 2 Opt for Sleight of Hand, as I just mentioned. Anyway, they get more results than I do, so results. Peer through Depths in here as well. Baral, Desperate Ritual, Grape Shot, Pyretic Ritual, Goblin Electromancer, Manamorphose, Past Flames, and at this point there's nothing that's on the ban list these days because, well, everything got banned from this deck. Flusterstorm in here as well for the sideboard. Lightning Bolt in here again. Grape Shot, Abrade, Echoing Through Pieces to dodge Graveyard Hate, Wipe Away, Aria of Flame, Empty the Warrants, just the very standard sideboard, but yeah, it's very good. I mean, this deck had like 6 card bans, and it's still just a very good deck. The trophy leaders on Magic Online usually are on Storm as well. So then we get to Takahashi Masato's deck, and this is the newest version that I could find of the Jeskai Ascendancy deck, and this is for 2020. And yeah, we have a Teferi Time Raveler in here. So Teferi Time Raveler, each opponent can cast spells only anytime they could cast a sorcery and 2 nonsense abilities, basically. And this just, yeah, you need to interact with Teferi, hence you tap out and use all your fodder to stop them, and then they play Jeskai Ascendancy and combo off anyway. But the main reason I wanted to point this one out is this is the first appearance I could find of Underworld Breach in a Storm deck. And Underworld Breach says each non-land card in your graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost plus 3 other cards from your graveyard. And at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice Underworld Breach. So what happens here is you play Underworld Breach. You escape like some random nonsense. It really doesn't matter at all. Let's say you get a Mishra's Bauble back. You get a Mishra's Bauble back. You trigger Jeskai Ascendancy. Fate Stitches, things happen, and yeah, the creatures stop making mana, but now you can't ever stop. Because, yeah, everything just nets you mana, and everything just comes back, so... Look, Underworld Breach, definitely a card I would have expected more of in Modern at this point. It's really broken, but this is the first time I could find it in Storm. Just wanted to point it out. Also, Veil of Summer in here. Can we please just get rid of this card? I hate this card so much. Veil of Summer, draw a card if an opponent has cast a blue or black spell this turn. Spells you control can be countered this turn. You and permanents you control gain hexproof from blue and black until end of turn. Yeah, this is a 1 mana cryptic command against blue and black decks. So yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, it's 1 mana. Yeah, I'm not gonna rant on it. I hate Veil of Summer. I don't think it ever should have been printed. So. Sideboard, we have the Glittering Wish package again. We have a Forest in here for people playing Path to Exile against you. Ceremonious Rejection against like Tron. 2 more Veil of Summer because the card's absolutely busted. Pithing Needle for stuff. Like, Pithing Needle is just a catch-all answer to anything. Ancient Grudge in their Scar Skill Ritual. This just is a 2 mana draw you 2 cards because the -1/-1 counter doesn't really matter when every time you play a spell it gets a bump. Abrupt Decay, Interaction. Hydroform just makes more creatures that untap with Jeskai Ascendancy. So you play Hydroform on a land, Jeskai Ascendancy triggers, and then they start untapping just like the rest of them. So just easier ways to combo off. Unmoored Ego for combo decks. Fiery Justice for creature decks. The 4 Jeskai Ascendancy, so you can get it with the Glittering Wishes. 2 Worships in here because lols, why not? It seems really good. And there's an Invoke the Firemind in here. That's so cute. This is just draw X card and deals X damage to any target. This is basically just the Izzet version of Sphinx's Revelation. And yeah, it's really cool. I've played this card in many a casual deck and it's a really fun card. So yeah, Glittering Wish package. Oh, and there's 1 Red and 6 because it's that powerful. And then we get to 2021, and this deck list is actually from literal yesterday. I'm recording this on... Oh no, it's 2 days ago. So this is a Storm deck from the Modern Challenge that was on 7th of March in 2021. As I said, that's 2 days ago. Results got posted yesterday, so I found this list yesterday when I was preparing this video. Yeah, this is just mostly just a real Storm deck. As we all know it, Serum Visions Ob, just no Sleight of Hand. I think I'm just wrong on that. Everybody's calling the Sleight of Hand. Anyway, Serum Visions Ob, Baron, 1 negate in here, that's kinda cute. Remand, Desperate Ritual, Grape Shot, Poetic Ritual, Electromancer, Manamorphose, Past in Flames, Gifts and Given, Repeal, Pieces of the Puzzle. And then we get to 2 new things. So Celundi Vision is a land. I'm gonna try and make this bigger, but Magical Land is being a real piece of work about it. Celundi Vision is look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant or sorcery card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, which is fine. I mean, I've played this in control decks. I fully guessed it would be in Storm as well. But the thing that makes this really powerful, this is a land. So all of a sudden, you're a 19 land deck. But when you're drawing enough lands, this is just a combo piece or a finder of combo pieces. And the other thing that was really surprising to me is just Burgi, God of Storytelling in here. Yeah, whenever you cast a spell, add a red mana. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. So this just makes a lot of mana. Creatures you control can boast twice during each of your turns rather than once. That's really nice as well. And the other side is Hanfell, Horn of Bounty. And it does discard a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. So either this draws you a crap ton of cards or this gets you a crap ton of mana. And it's just, I mean, look at that face. He just looks so happy to be in Storms. He's just happy to be here, you know. So yeah, this is literal a list from last weekend. And Storm's still innovating. Lots of stuff happening at all times. The deck is just always very powerful. Sideboard, we have Lightning Bolt, Pieces of the Puzzle. Mystical Dispute making an appearance as well. The spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a blue spell. This is just a mana leak that's very good against blue spells. Empty the Warrens, Engineered Explosives, and Echoing Truth in there. And yeah, that brings the total score of cards banned because of Storm to, Preordain, Ponder, Stealing Song, Gataxian Probe, Treasure Cruise, and Dig Through Time. And I would not be surprised if that's not the end of it. And it's still just performing. Like, this is a literal list from 2 days ago that made top 8 in the Modern Challenge. The deck just still performs. It's that good. As I already mentioned a few times, the literal way they call the counter for how broken it is, the Storm counter. Like, if you're on a 1 on 10, they go from 1 to 10. And if you're a 1 on the Storm counter, on the Storm scale, it's just... This is fair. This is totally fine. If you're a 3, you're like doing something busted. If you're playing a 10 out of 10 busted deck, you're playing Storm. That's usually just the truth of it. You draw cards. This is just the kind of deck, and Storm is just the kind of deck where it's like, okay, this is either really good or really unplayable, and it's just been good for a decade. Like the first versions of the deck that looked like what we ended up with today. I mean, look at this list. We have Opt, Serum Vision, bunch of rituals. Yeah, we have Burgi, Gifts, Past. Then look at the list from 2011. We have, for instance, this one. It's just the same thing, but these are all banned now. But it's just the same thing. Nothing changed in the core of this. So yeah, Storm, inherently powerful. If also very budget friendly. Very playable without fetch line. So if you want to get into Modern on a budget, I highly recommend Storm. And with that all being said, I'm going to do a bunch of editing because my Magic Online crashed a few times. This video has been made possible because of MANATRADERS. If you enjoy the content, check them out. And the other thing I'd like you to do is just like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if I made any mistakes. I'm trying to do these on a regular schedule, barring technical difficulties like with this one. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.